Helping Hand Foundation has recently taken up a survey of the urban slums south of the city where majority of the Muslim population resides. The objective of the survey is to assess the economic backwardness and the seclusions of the Muslim community vis-a-vis certain thematic areas like labor and migration, health, education, utilization of public utilities and things like that. In the GMC limits, our estimates say that there are close to 1500 notified slums, notified and unnotified slums, and about a good 60% of these slums are south of the city where majority of the weaker sections from the community reside. About 65 to 70% of the population living in these slums are basically daily wages, unskilled labor. There are 10 to 12% of the population who are self-employed. Unlike many Muslims from the north or from any other part of the country, Muslims from Hyderabad seldom migrate for greener pastures for work. Women in many households make an earning. Our estimate is that more than 35 to 40% of women are engaged in domestic work. They earn a meager income of 3 to 5,000. Our survey preliminary data has pointed out that 35% or so do not consume rations from the PDS that inactivates their white ration card. When the card gets inactivated, a whole lot of other government welfare schemes makes you ineligible. For example, the Asra pensions, gas subsidy, the health Arogya scheme, double bedroom housing scheme, all this get impacted for a whole range of welfare schemes which the government provides. If you look at the chronic disease or non-communicable disease scenario in Hyderabad, it's pretty bad in the urban slums. Almost 1/3 of all types of chronic disease, the incidence of is reported from the slums of Hyderabad. Take the example of cancer. Out of the total cases reported in the state, 1/3 of the cases are reported from the city, and within the city, more than half of them are from the slums this side of south of the city. The lifestyle diseases causes a huge financial burden, stress, and pulls them into poverty, because what we see normally is that the bread earner, who is a male, gets indisposed, and one person who gets into complication of cancer or a kidney disease or heart problem or stroke, he puts the entire generation behind him. That baggage carries on to the next generation. As you see in the visuals, sanitation levels are very poor, hygiene is very poor. Majority of the slums do not have access to clean water, clean drinking water. What happens as a result of this is that each time there's a monsoon, summer, different climatic changes has an impact because of this poor sanitation and hygiene. Seasonal diseases tend to take a toll. For example, if it's monsoon, immediately after monsoon we see mosquitoes, dengue, malaria cases rising, both waterborne and vector-borne. We see typhoid, cholera spikes in monsoon and post-monsoons. Very minuscule percentage of families, parents are using the government free education, right from primary, KG to PG. Now, this puts a huge burden, financial burden on the family. We agree that, infrastructure, as you're seeing in government schools, is not up to the par. But at the end of the day, you get basic education, which our community is not able to utilize. Parents have to make a difficult choice between health, education and children's nutrition, because there is cost attached by sending the children to private schools, which ranges between 800 to 1000 rupees per month. Most families are unable to afford this. What we are seeing very typically after COVID is that with limited incomes, lack of economic opportunity, many children are being forced into child labor. We've seen through this survey that about 12 to 15% is a dropout between secondary and higher education, and these children are now doing child labor to augment the household income. Access to institutional credit, banks and other non-banking financial companies is negligible. So most of the borrowing happens with money lenders in the most unscrupulous manner, and they end up paying a significant part of their daily wages to servicing the interest. So in conclusion, what we're seeing is that this vicious cycle of poverty is likely to continue. The combination of illiteracy among adults, the children not getting proper education, getting dropped out, getting into child labor, the high cost of education, healthcare put together, making difficult for people to make choices between healthcare, food and education, poor health of adults due to chronic diseases, unhygienic areas lacking sanitation taking a toll on seasonal diseases, daily wage earners and women workforce trying to make the household incomes run makes a deadly combination